sword that kills is the sword that brings life.
Alright folks, so today I am here to explore the subject of the Echelon Briefing and Humanities' final years in the Walking Dead universe. Now listen, I was disappointed with the CRM's end in The Ones Who Live, and it seems like a lot of you guys were as well. They seem like this franchise's endgame, and without them being our big bad, a lot of us are wondering, what's next? Well, in the Ones Who Live series finale, we're presented with some new information from General Beale's Echelon Briefing that could point us in a solid direction for this franchise's future. If you guys are enjoying this type of content, be sure to hit that like button, and if you're feeling generous, hit that sub button as well. The Echelon Briefing is a classified orientation top-performing CRM soldiers receive once promoted high enough in the ranks. This briefing, delivered by the military's leader, Major General Beale, details the true size and scope of the Civic Republic's missions across the wasteland. This information was kept secret from the Alliance of Three, and also the rest of the military, throughout the CRM's tenure as the boogeyman of the wasteland, due to the inhumane and traitorous orders Beale's elite squad was sent out on. It's stated by Beale he delivered the briefing 2,534 times. However, the elite frontliners consist of at least 3,000 soldiers, meaning others had given the briefing as well. In World Beyond, Jada states she intends to give Jennifer Malik a full briefing, implying she would be delivering it instead of Beale. But that wouldn't come to pass, as Jennifer Malik was outed as a traitor and killed.
Ironic.
However, she seems to give a shortened version to the Endlings as a last resort before bombing the first chlorine gas supply intended for Portland, so who the fuck knows how well kept a secret this actually is. Once chosen to receive the Echelon Briefing, a soldier would be treated to a one-on-one with Beale, describing everything the Civic Republic military knows has happened and will happen. Named soldiers and personnel presumed to have received the Echelon Briefing in its proper form consist of the following: Jada Stokes, Donald Okafor, Elizabeth Kublik, Pearl Thorne, Frank Newton, Mills, Barca, and Rick Grimes, although he kills Beale before the end, so it's possible there's information he may have missed. Once chosen, the soldier will don red-striped body armor, and will be informed of the truth.
After this next moment, everything will change.
CRM projections show humanity, as a species on planet Earth, has, at most, 14 years to survive before the dead overrun the world, leading to extinction. Walker hordes are growing to 1 million plus strong across the continents. Disease and starvation are becoming extreme factors as well, presumably directly due to the hordes tearing through farms and communities, and infecting survivors with whatever else they carry on their destructive path. The soldier will then be filled in on the true nature of the elite frontliners' covert missions. Systematically exterminate everything dead and alive across the wasteland. If you saw my CRM Origins video, you would know we saw the first stages of this mission play out in World Beyond, through the genocide of Omaha and Campus Colony, 2 of 3 super colonies a part of the Alliance, with the help of spies planted by Beale in various communities across the country. As the biggest known colonies on the continent, they would be the CRM's first target as they posed the greatest risk to the CR's resources, secrecy, security, and superiority. On the dead side, we also saw through World Beyond Walker culling outposts, presumably stationed all across the country, intended to draw in and exterminate as many walking corpses as possible with fire and explosives, to help stop the spread of contagions and rinse and repeat the next day. We also see the CR scientists working on ways to speed up decomposition with walkers using variations of chlorine gas that would be tested on survivors classified as A's, traded to them throughout the wasteland. Although we would see on occasion the military use walker megahordes to clean up their genocidal messes, so who knows how much of a priority eliminating the dead actually was. Obviously, the CRM's projections showed this would not be enough to save humanity. So, Portland, the last remaining super colony, a part of the Alliance of Three, aside from the Civic Republic itself, would be next on the chopping block. The beginning stages even being seen in The Ones Who Live, with the evacuation of 10% of the city's children, seen as assets to the CR's future at the Cascadia Base Summit. Once Portland was to be bombed with chlorine gas, much like the colonies before it, the CRM would declare martial law on the Civic Republic of Philadelphia and take control of the city away from the council, under the guise of security, as the last members of the Alliance would be wiped out. Once order was established, the CRM would begin their march across America, eliminating every community and walking corpse they could find, leaving only the Civic Republic military remaining. In The Ones Who Live episode 3, we see Jadis mention to Rick the CRM has a 500-year plan to ensure humanity's survival. We can extrapolate that this plan would most likely extend to taking back every country on the planet. Rick Grimes receives the briefing, but kills Beale in defiance. I made the mistake of thinking Rick was the only elite soldier out of 3,000 to defy the briefing's orders, but that's not exactly true, as we do see Barca in World Beyond have doubts, and be killed by the military in response. We can assume this probably wasn't the first time either, based off how routine it seemed for Kublek. It seems Rick was just the first to get away with it. However, 3,000 other soldiers do fully buy into the CRM's plans, as seen by Pearl Thorne's switch up to becoming a believer, and Jadis' insistence of the military's importance even on her deathbed. Now, in The Ones Who Live finale, during the Cascadia Base Summit, Rick and Michonne blow up the chlorine gas supply intended for Portland. Again. Blowing up basically every single elite frontliner and bad apple within the military. At least that's how the show presents the outcome through the ending broadcast voiceover.
That was easy.
Rick and Michonne take the CRM atrocities discovered to the Civic Republic Council. In response, the city takes emergency oversight of the military and begins the process of reshaping the military into a helpful force, delivering supplies to smaller colonies across the wasteland under a new banner. Yay, happy ending. Oh, wait a second. That's right. Humanity's supposed to go extinct within 14 years according to Beale. Probably much less now that the reformed CRM is handing out resources to anyone across the country. Is it possible Beale was lying? Well, I guess, but I don't think that would make sense writing-wise, as obviously Beale is dead, and the truth wouldn't be revealed. That is, until those 14 years have passed in the timeline. So, I'm gonna go forward under the assumption the projections are accurate. This makes Dead City seem like a really strange outlier, as it's said to be a few years ahead in relation to the other spin-offs' timelines, and we see humanity almost appear to be adapting and rebuilding, as Maggie is seen visiting bars and motels. We see other coalitions such as New Babylon growing, and even groups thriving in the hellhole that is Manhattan. Theoretically, things should be looking much worse for humanity by that point, but that's not really what we're shown. But who knows? That might be explored now in Dead City Season 2. So, where does that leave the franchise? Well, with the CRM becoming more of a benevolent force at the end of The Ones Who Live, we really only have two major plot lines going on now. The 14-year projection and Pouvoir, France's growing nationalist movement. In Daryl Dixon's Season 1, we see a vessel shipping walkers and hybrid variants between America and France. But it seems like at this point in the timeline, the CRM, as we know them as villains, could already be defeated. So this trading outpost scene in America is probably unrelated to the military. But the hybrid variants seen on board are created from a synthetic substance. that reacts in various ways to the walker test subject. In successful cases, induces extreme strength and rage, as we can see later on as French Pouvoir scientists are experimenting, implying that the hybrids actually originate from France. Now, if we are connecting these two dangling plot lines, I'd like to propose the theory that Pouvoir's experiments will be used to overcome the projection of humanity's final years, using the hybrid variants as weapons. Why would they be creating an even more dangerous variant of the dead? Well, we see in Daryl Dixon's Season 1, the hybrid variants attack and kill other walkers. Could this unidentified serum be the key to overcoming the mega hordes? We see failed test subjects explode as a response to the serum. So, could a perfected version increase the strength and rage in a hybrid temporarily before killing it? Maybe allowing the hybrid to rip through a chunk of a horde before expiring itself. Well, variants are the only real direction I can see this franchise taking with what we have left to go off. Using the dead to defeat the dead is a plotline that hasn't really been explored, and as it appears the wildfire virus may have originated from France, judging by the World Beyond Season 2 post-credits scene, it would almost be poetic for the solution to come from France as well. It would give Daryl more of a purpose to be in France, as it helps connect Pouvoir to the rest of the franchise. I was one of the people refusing to believe Carol said Rick came back in Daryl Dixon Season 1, but after the Ones Who Live finale, it definitely could be possible. With that, Carol would come to Daryl with the revelation of the CRM's unity across America, and depending on what happens with Pouvoir, it could pave the avenue for France and America to be in contact, or maybe even in conflict, if that weren't already the case. But hey, that's just a theory.
A film theory!
So, what do you guys think? Will the projections of humanity's extinction come to pass without the military's 500-year plan in act? Or do you think our characters will find a way to overcome this final obstacle? And just from my own curiosity, do you think what we learned in the Echelon Briefing was enough to justify Thorn and all the other elite soldiers change up into believers? Let me know your thoughts on all these questions down below. The future direction of the franchise seems to be in a bit of a weird state right now, but I think there's still a lot of interesting things to look forward to. So if you guys enjoy this type of content, be sure to hit that like button and drop a sub too if you're feeling generous. Thanks for watching.